M4s. They're kind of like Barbie dolls, but for guys. You can dress them up in whichever way you want, however you want. The end of the day is, even though they may kind of look alike, there's still 1,000,001 ways to make yours yours. The M4 was originally designed to be the successor to the M14, and long story short, and with much drama and wheeling and dealing, the M4 was adopted by the US military and has been a mainstay ever since. The AR, armor-light rifle system, in which the M4 was built upon, is one of the easiest to operate, as everything seen on the gun is laid out ergonomically sound and easy to access by the shooter. So it's no wonder that the M4 is the most popular gun, even in airsoft, and probably there have been 1,000,001 that's been produced over the years. So today, we're here to rank 12 of what we think are the best airsoft M4s. Now, our criteria is not only based on performance, but also how significant these guns were. Number 12, the Inokatsu Colt M4 GBBR. When this gun was released, it was considered the most realistic airsoft M4 or airsoft rifle to date. Everything from operation to looks to how it felt in your hand was pretty much the best you can buy, barring buying a real one. The rifle featured fully licensed Colt trademarks and a super satisfying recoil impulse. While compared to GBBRs of today, it pales in comparison. However, during the time of its release, it was considered the top dog. And even to this day, there are still people out there who would die to get their hands on one. Number 11, the Amoeba AM013 Honey Badger. To the other side of the spectrum is the AM013 Honey Badger. This gun made the budget M4 cool. No longer did you have to compromise on looks when you considered an entry-level gun, because during the time of its release, when you were looking for a budget gun, they usually meant something that looked budget as well. The Honey Badger came out, looked sleek, futuristic, and packed really good performance. Okay, the Honey Badger's receiver was plastic fantastic, and the battery compartment was laughably small. All those things aside though, the Honey Badger is something of a trailblazer. It really allowed people who wanted to dabble getting into airsoft have a pretty cool gun as an entry-level option. And because of this, it paved the way for other budget options, such as its older brother, the AM016, and of course, the Mutant, forever cementing Amoeba's name as the leader of the pack when it came to budget yet good-looking airsoft M4s. Number 10, the F1 BDR-15 AEG. The BDR-15 is a fully licensed product from F1 Firearms. During the time of the release, there was a craze for this ultra lightweight guns in the real steel world, and F1 Firearms knocked it out of the park with the BDR-15. The airsoft version was equally as head-turning, and it performed really well. Compared to many current M4s, still it's considerably lightweight and looks very competition focused. It also added to your experience by adding a little bit of that electronic recoil. Looking at the gun, it was one of those wild design concepts that just somehow worked. And big props for APS to make this thing look so good. Probably my favorite part of the gun was the handguard. There's something about this purpose-made handguard with a place for you to put your hand right in front, and it just felt good to operate. But if you're taking the gun out and it's dusty and dirty and grimy, well, I may suggest against that because of all the places dust and dirt can get into. Also, I hope it doesn't drizzle or your gun gets wet because there are so many lightning and window cuts there. Number 9, the VFC Mark 12 GBBR. The Mark 12 is one of those military rifles that evokes such emotion, much like the Mark 18, and more on that later. It screams the war in Afghanistan period and most perfectly embodies the 21st century warfighter. Most importantly, the Mark 12 and the collapsible stock variant were used in the hit movie Lone Survivor starring Mark Wahlberg. While the Mark 12 didn't garner as much popularity as the Mark 18 or the SOTMOD Block 2 that were produced around the same era, it was still a very capable weapons platform and a weapons platform of choice for those who wanted intermediate to slightly longer range engagements. In airsoft though, because of its positioning between the Mark 18 and some other offerings during the time, it was somehow relegated to this kind of stepchild position. Everybody liked it, but it was never super popular, where it lent itself to a lot of upgrade parts and considerably longer legs after production. Number 8, the GHK Mark 18 GBBR. How can we not include the Mark 18 on this list after waxing so eloquently about the Mark 12? The Mark 18 was the SF rifle when it busted out on the scene. Everybody wanted one, and everywhere you looked, special operators were using one, or the next one that's on this list. GHK, though famed for building AKs, made a killer of an M4, and they applied that manufacturing design and know-how to make the Mark 18 fly. The gun shot exceptionally well and was probably one of the better Mark 18s that came out when it did. The Mark 18 is cool. There is no doubt about that. And the GHK Mark 18 was even cooler, because compared to all the other offerings at the time, the GHK one was probably the best. It had the most gas efficiency, it was very accurate, and it looked fantastic. But the problem was when they launched this gun. It was kind of towards the tail end of popularity for the Mark 18 itself, soon to be replaced by, well, the URGI. Not to mention, everybody and their uncles and cousins and wives and their dog already made a Mark 18. Number 7, the Umarex HK416 A5. Ever since it was noted that the Navy SEALs used an HK416 to take out Bin Laden in that raid, famously seen in the movie Zero Dark 30, everyone everywhere was looking to get their hands on an HK416. The Airsoft version sold like hotcakes, and it was a cool gun. The A5 version is the latest and the greatest, finally ditching its boring black for more color. Also, it shot like a dream. The A5 was a much needed refresh to the, at the time, aging HK416D. And you know, extra color is always welcomed. All 50 shades of FDE. But what I'm trying to say is, guys, the significance as to why the A5 is here is because with each successive generation of the HK416, Umarex VFC has always made sure that they've refreshed the internals as well as the externals. So props to them for always keeping the HK416 at the cutting edge of performance. Number 6, Systema PTW M4s. How could we not have a Systema PTW on this list? They were the first airsoft guns of its kind to be focused on training and took aim at being a viable tool for law enforcement and military. Its ability to have its power changed by simply swapping out a cylinder was revolutionary, and to this day they are still the brand that comes to mind when thinking about high-end electric-based training airsoft guns. Another added benefit why the PTW was a way more serious platform at the time is because some of its components were directly swappable for real steel compatible parts, being mil-spec. When this was done, it was very revolutionary, instantly kind of propelling it into the possibility of, wow, airsoft can be a serious tool for training. And if it wasn't for the Systema PTW trailblazing this high-end side of airsoft, it would take much longer for other airsoft guns that we like to be looked at in the same light of seriousness as the PTW. The only drawback, these guns are not cheap. Number 5, the VFC Samurai Edge. VFC has made fantastic AEGs and people hold them in very high regard. However, they further removed themselves from the competition when they launched their Virgo upgrade kit and built a gun around it called the Samurai Edge. It was a supercharged AEG with extreme performance, great internals, and programmable electronics to boot. VFC then paired their supercharged internals with an elegantly crafted body, and the Samurai Edge was an instant success. While the gun was killer from start to finish, its only downfall was the fact that I think it was too good. It didn't have a lot of other parts that you can add to it. I mean, if you can upgrade a supercar, why wouldn't you have parts to want to upgrade a super gun, if you're catching my analogy? Number 4, the Krytac LVOA. The Krytac LVOA is built upon Krytac's tried and tested system, making their gun near invincible. Designed from the ground up to be great performance out of the box, everything is made in a way that you as the shooter can enjoy everything about the gun without worrying about it breaking halfway through your game. In addition, the gun was licensed by Warsport and used by Chris Costa. It just made this gun instantly cooler. Okay, so Warsport itself isn't around anymore as a brand, and I'm hard pressed to find if most of the younger generation know who Chris Costa is. What I'm trying to say is, the gun, while it looks great, it's a product of its time. The handguard, for example, it's kind of in between. It's in between a key mod and an M-lock because it really wasn't neither. It needed to adapt Picatinny rail sections onto it. And the design may not be for everybody. But I honestly think that its build quality and the styling overcame any of these issues. And the moment you pick up one of those LVOAs, you're gonna fall in love with it. Number 3, the VFC Forging Series. The VFC Forging Series have been touted as some of the best guns available when they were released. And let me tell you, they were. They shot like a dream, they kicked hard, they were loud, came in Assault Mod Block 2 and FSP versions. The most important of all, their receivers were forged, just like the real ones were. There was a mystique about them. They were simple, beautiful, and they gave you some feels, to be honest. By far, some of the best GBBRs. They were also expensive and super limited. But guys, they were worth every penny. These guns were so exceptional that I think there's still people to this day that hold them in very high regard, and when they talk about them, there's a sense of reverence. Because after VFC did this run of the Forging Series, I don't think they've ever done it again. Number 2, the VFC, BCM, MCMR, AEG, and GBBR. BCM is probably one of the coolest, most highly sought after brands in the real steel world. It's a brand widely used by many shooters such as Travis Haley and Larry Vickers. When these guns were announced that they were coming to Airsoft by way of VFC, I think everybody in the community lost our collective minds. Not only was there going to be an AEG, but a GBBR as well. Both guns boasted extreme performance and featured the best of the electric and gas systems from VFC. They were really like nothing that we have seen before from Vega Force. Okay, well, these two guns were phenomenal to shoot right out of the box, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, probably you right now watching this video, would have loved to take it apart and upgrade it to how you want to upgrade it. And there lies the problem. They were so successful, they sold out so quickly, and they came out during this time when there's material shortage and you watch the news. So because of that, it's kind of still waiting for upgrade parts to arrive. Honorable mentions: RWA Battle Arms Development AEG, brand spanking new. Fully licensed and the first M4 AEG from RWA, it features an RWA edition built-in gate aster. Comes preset with a binary trigger mode and lots of fun. The SIG Air MCX Legacy and Virtus. While not really an M4, it would have been what an M4 turned out to be if let to naturally evolve. Not to mention its wide acceptance and use by a lot of special operators around the world. The MCX is going to be a gun to keep your eyes out for. The Airsoft versions were really well made and also shot very good. Only downside was it was not the easiest gun to find the right batteries for. Number 1, the Tokyo Marui MTR-16. We all know Tokyo Marui makes some really good guns. Guns that are not only great to shoot out of the box, but also awesome to use as upgrading platforms. When they released the MWS, it pretty much set the world on fire. It was highly efficient, shot well and accurate, and most importantly, it was yet another platform with endless upgrading potential. The MTR-16 belongs here at the top because this is really a truly unique design from Tokyo Marui, and I personally think it's very significant. It's not based on anything else, and it is crafted to how Marui wanted to make it. For better or for worse, the gun looks the way it does, and I feel like the only real detraction from how great this gun actually is its looks. I personally think it's pretty cool. I like the fact that Tokyo Marui actually took the time to design something truly their own instead of cloning an other already existing style. Not to mention, its biggest bonus is the fact that it is based on the same system used in the MWS, making this gun a modder's dream Airsoft M4. But what do you guys think? If you want to watch any of these videos that we used on screen, we have all the links in the description below. We can't make enough cards, YouTube won't let us. So, description below, you can rewatch all of these videos. Guys, and if you want any of these cool products that you've seen, go to our online store, www.redwolfairsoft.com. If you like this video, give us a like. If you thought it was cool, share it with your friends. If you haven't done so yet, and I don't know why you haven't, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time we upload a new video. Guys, we're coming to the end of this again. And until next time, I'll see you on the next episode of RWTV.